Okay. I am a lecturer at Istanbul Technical University, Department of City and Regional Planning. Today we are going to talk about resilience after disaster, rebuilding cities, communities, and hope. When we hear the word disaster, most of us think about it is only physical destruction, collapsed building and damaged roads, broken infrastructure, social and technical infrastructure. And of course, these are real parts of the disaster. But today, I would like to think about disaster in the broader and in human way. Because after a disaster, it is not only about concrete or city. It is about disrupted daily life, memories, belongings, social networks, and hopes as well. Let's see our today's journey. I want to focus on four main ideas today. The first one, loss beyond buildings. The second one, memories, grief, and belonging. The third one, resilience and recovery. The last one, the role of youth and civil society. My main argument is, it is simple. Recovery should not be understood only physical dimension. It must also include emotional, social, and recovery side. Let me ask a questions about in my presentation. What do disaster really destroy? At first, when we look at this question, the answer it is simple. It is about infrastructure, buildings, roads, bridges, all of the physical infrastructure. But disaster destroy more than buildings. It's associated with people's everyday life stable. They damage place where people gathering, where people live, where people rest, where people pray, and feel that life belong. That's why post-disaster recovery can never be understood as a purely physical decisions. And a city, it is not only about concrete, and still it is about homes, memories, and belonging, and shared experiences, we can say. This is Kahramanmaraş city center maps. You can see that, we lived very huge earthquakes in 2023 in Kahramanmaraş region. More than 11 cities affected, and more than 50,000 people passed away, and lots of people went to different cities as well. After a disaster, people often lose several things. The first one, they lose home. Not only it is a shelter, but also it is our routine, our privacy, and our familiarity. They lose memories, because memories lives not only in people, but also it is like a public space, in streets, in parks, in schools, in mosques, and neighborhood corners like that. The third one, they lose belonging, especially when they are displaced, separated from familiar places. And it is about well-being, emotional balance, trust, stability, and hope. So if recovery restores buildings but does not restore life, then recovery remains incomplete. A reminder from Turkey, and we mentioned before, this became very painfully visible after major earthquakes in 2023, and the word saw was physical destruction. You can see before earthquake, and upside, the downside, you can see after the earthquake. What people experienced this in this process, it is much more than physical loss. People lost homes, and people's communities lost routines, and cities lost familiar places. And the recovery required not only shelter but also solidarity. And there are lots of new questions. Where will we live? And they asked also, where will we meet? And how will our children feel safe again? And what happens to the memory of this city? There are the central questions after disaster because people need not only shelter but also dignity, connection, and emotional support. Let's see in Kahramanmaraş earthquakes in Turkey before and after imaging. It is not only physical destruction. All of them, gathering points, evacuation area, emergency, transportation routes, public spaces. We faced lots of different problems after this huge two disaster. Even after this disaster, the reconstruction process, it is still going on. Okay, let's go. You can see in this photo streets. Streets hold memories, neighborhoods hold stories, and public spaces hold our relationships. And when these are disrupted, communities experience not only shock but also grief. And we can say we often think grief it is about individual, but reality after this disaster also it can create collective grief. A neighborhood can grieve, a city can grieve, a community can grieve. And that's why recovery must include care, connection, and the rebuilding of belonging. So what makes a city resilient? A resilient city is not simply a city with stronger buildings. It is a city that can protect life, support recovery, and continue function after disruption. That means safe housing, protection, and dignity. It means community networks, social networks. It means public and gathering assembly point, safety, meeting, and support. A resilient city is not only a city, it is about physical, social, spatial at the same time. And there are lots of different dimensional lines when we talk about the resilient cities. And there are two significant dimensional words we can say. The first one, it is about risk mitigation. The second one, it is about adaptation capacity. These are the most significant keywords about resilient and resilient cities. And we can downsize this keyword in public space, in streets, in our community networks, like that. And we can add accessible local services, health, transportation, communication, and daily needs. At this point, we should ask who built resilience? Not only governments, not only planners or architects, not only emergency professionals. Young people, volunteers, local communities, and civil society organization and psychological support teams all play crucial roles in this process. They organize support, they share information, and they strengthen community ties, and they support psychological recovery, well-being, we can say. That's why youth and civil society are not secondary actors in recovery process. They are central actor. For me, the central message is this. The opposite of disaster is not only reconstruction, it is reconnection. There is a strong reconnection between people and place. There is a strong reconnection between communities and support system. There is a strong reconnection between present and memories. Because a city becomes resilient not only when buildings stand again, but when people can stand together again. And this leads to one final question. Do you know this area? Which city? No. Yeah, France. Paris. You can see Paris city center. And there is one final question. If we rebuild without memory, what are we really rebuilding? After any disaster, reconstruction it is necessary, right? But if rebuilding ignores local identity, neighborhood character, collective memories, and community ties and social networks. And when we don't think about the whole indicators, then the city rise only physically. And the real question is not only whether we rebuild, the real question is how we rebuild, for whom we rebuild, and what kind of city we leave behind. Lots of cities in Turkey and other countries as well, after disaster, we could see lots of high-rise building, and there is no identity, no neighborhood characters, there is no community ties, only physical one we can see. Even in some US parts and some European countries and Turkey case and East Asian countries as well, we can see that. There is a Le Corbusier plan in Paris, transformation of Paris. There is a Le Corbusier plan. Do you wondering about that transformation after disaster? If Le Corbusier did designed in Paris, it would be like this. Recovery must protect identity, memories, and belonging. Yes, we must build safer cities. Yes, we must reduce risk. Yes, we must reconstruct. We must also protect human, cultural, and community ties, community fabric, social networks. Only then can recovery become more than reconstruction. Only then can it become true resilience. Thank you for listening. That's all.